So we haven't had international services now for 5 years out of Ebbsfleet International or Ashford. In Kent, we have international platforms literally gathering dust. And it's vital that we get those services restarted. I don't buy Eurostar's excuses on this, that there isn't enough demand. There's absolutely demand. The tourism industry in Kent generates millions and millions of pounds each year. The demand is there. And I think what we need to see is those services up and running again.
Eurostar's argument is, before the pandemic, just 4% of passengers travelled from those two Kent stations. So how significant would it actually be if just 4% of passengers are using the Kent stations?
Well, clearly we've had population growth since that time. And look, this is, not only do you have the problem of there not being services available from Ebbsfleet and Ashford, it's not unusual to see delays at St Pancras as well, and that is because there are not enough routes on the stop to actually to help passengers actually break up their journey and use alternative stations. So actually it's causing delays and congestion at St Pancras as well.
Tudor, we've heard more about monopolies this week. That's going to put pressure, isn't it, on Eurostar?
Now, so the Chamber and many other stakeholders have been involved in a campaign group, so we've been working on this for a number of years. And so we know, statistically, there was about £40 million worth of profit to be made out of the Ashford station alone. We've done the statistics, we've done the measurements on that. Eurostar will, of course, only put forward the statistics they want you to hear. That makes their case, and obviously we're going to put forward the statistics from our side. We have conducted surveys. Over 500 businesses have already indicated how it impacts their local economy and their businesses. We have been working really hard with Eurostar, and I quote, they said that it would require too much effort to reinstate those services back at Ashford, and that doesn't mean that they're not profitable. They just really can't be bothered. So we've been trying to play nice. We've decided actually that's not going to work anymore, and so we have been working with the government and other stakeholders to try and encourage more operators to come into the market and, as Jonathan says, break that monopoly, bring back services. And we're really encouraged that the newly named High Speed 1, now to London St Pancras High Speed, has actually provided financial incentives for those operators to buy into those stops.
And this is having an economic impact, isn't it, at the moment? I've heard you talking about it time and time again.
Yes.
Just explain very simply how international rail services are impacting businesses here in Kent.
Well, it was there. So all of these big infrastructure projects, what they do, they sort of have a gravitational pull, in effect, from an economic perspective. So you sort of draw in a lot of industries and sectors that sort of tend to feed into that. So whether they're, even if you're not travelling from the international stations, you might be providing the food, you might be doing the cleaning, you might be providing local hotel services, taxis and things. That was all up and running and growing, and so that did a huge amount to impact the local economy. That's been gone. It's been gone for 5 years, as Jonathan said, so we're now starting to sort of see that dissipate. And if we want to try and retain that foundation for growth, we need these services back.
And finally, Jonathan, one of the arguments Eurostar's making is the impact of the European Union's new EES, entry-exit system, introducing that to Kent stations. I think I've heard arguments about room, the capacity to put it in, staffing of that. Is that a fair argument Eurostar are making?
Well, it's certainly true that exiting the European Union didn't help the situation with international services, but it's not a barrier. It shouldn't be a barrier. And actually, all of the fact that there, as Tudor says, there are operating companies waiting to come forward to operate this route, I think tells you that that is not a barrier to be able to operate services profitably, and get services running back again from Ebbsfleet and Ashford.